Hello and welcome to Walk the Talk. I'm Shekhar Gupta on Mumbai's Marine Drive. And before I told you who my guest this week is, if I told you who my most valued spectator or bystander is, this little pug named Coco, I think you can guess who my guest is. Piyush Pandey.
Hi, Shekhar.
You made the pug immortal, and I must say you gave the pug such a big head start over all the other breeds of dogs in dog world.
Thank you.
And believe me, we didn't organize it. I think the pug heard that you were going to be here.
I think the pug is trying to tell us that you didn't make me famous. I made myself famous.
and frankly, we tried to get the pug to look at least the camera, but he won't because he's a dog. Unlike Somnath Bharti's Don, who apparently on his orders can also bite his wife.
I think the dog mistook me for Rajiv Rao, who's the creator of the pug.
Your colleague. I mean, this is the power of advertising and power of brand positioning, because you were positioning Vodafone, but you positioned the pug.
We were trying to do a very simple thing of saying, like a dog follows his master, the network follows you. And they found a very simple analogy of saying, like a dog follows. And people loved it. It was so simple, and it reinforces my belief that simpler the better.
Although I must say, these days, and this applies to all mobile companies, network doesn't follow anybody like a faithful dog.
I only make the ads.
I have to be careful. The network may be like a stray cow. You have to go searching for it.
I will not comment on that.
Anything to do with cow, careful, but still.
Yeah, cows and dogs and networks, I'll stay away from.
Stay away from. So you're the doyen of advertising industry.
Practitioner.
Who's known because of a kind of dog, because of a couple of products, a paint, a glue, many other things. But these are the big ones. And one famous song, which is not a Bollywood song.
Yeah.
Tell us the story of each.
See, I think if you look at it, all credit goes to clients who are brave. For Asian Paints to accept a scenario that we will not talk paint, we will talk about pride of ownership of a home. It's a big thing. There's not a single shot of paint in that Har Ghar Kuch Kehta Hai. For Pidilite, for Fevicol, M-Seal, Fevikwik with the chap with the fish, there is nothing to do with chashma jodta hai ki juta jodta hai. It is all about that this is the ultimate bond. So these were brave people, Asian Paints or Pidilite or Cadbury's, to do that girl dancing on the cricket field. And when you come to Mile Sur Mera Tumhara, it was late Mr. Suresh Malik's concept. And somehow he had some faith in me. I think he was a cricket lover and loved me. So he gave me the opportunity to write those lyrics for him. And he guided me and made me work very hard. And I wrote that entire song 18 times till he approved it. And then when Pandit Bhimsen Joshi sang it, he made some ordinary lyrics into magic.
Well, yes, the whole overall effect was magical, and I won't say they were ordinary lyrics, but you also fishing for compliments. Having said that, there is something about you add people. You dabble in many things. Do you have a lot of spare time, or do you think like that? Are you scatterbrained?
I'm a believer. I've dabbled with a number of things like Indianizing Walt Disney's films like Lion King and Aladdin.
Right.
I have dabbled with a film once, Bhopal Express, which was about the Bhopal gas tragedy.
Right. You've acted in one recently.
Which was because of my good friend Sujit Sarkar thought that I would look like a cabinet secretary. My mother would have been very happy. She wanted me to be in the IAS.
Yes. Those days, that was the route. St. Stephen's College, so either IAS.
But your question is a very important one.
Tata.
Your question is a very important one, and I encourage all my colleagues that have 3 or 4 things where you are not the expert, but you have a great interest. Meet the experts. There's a cross-learning that happens all the time. I go and see a lot of my sister's theatre. I go for music concerts. Some people have acted in movies, like my colleague Shumanto Chattopadhyay acted as Buddha in one of the movies. So people must have varied interests, because end of the day, you are an observer and you'll bring something to the party which you can't get in an office.
Because you acted in one,
Madras Cafe. Yeah.
I must say you look the cabinet secretary.
I don't know what it looks like.
No, it's a good film.
Cabinet secretaries will complain that they'll say that I'm better looking.
Well, I think we'll let them know. But that film was very realistic. So in fact, it's one of my
Beautifully done.
One of my favorite films. But do you have any favorite works in advertising?
Yes, I mean, they change all the time. When I was very early in my advertising days, I used to love Hamara Bajaj. Before my advertising days within Ogilvy, created by Suresh Malik, was Gale Mein Khich Khich Kya Karu. Used to love that. Later on, the work that was done by McCann on Coca-Cola.
I must tell you, a lot of kids would call Vicks ki goli Khich Khich goli.
So then some of the stuff done on Happy Dent and Coca-Cola, not by us, but by our competitors, is commendable work. The work done for Times of India. I mean, my brother used to do a lot of Times of India work. Absolutely exemplary work. In fact, if you ask me, my favoriteest commercial is not a Ogilvy commercial. It is a commercial for another agency which my brother shot, which is about the file in Times of India, where the file goes around the office and each one says, "Yahan le ja, wahan le ja." And ultimately money is given and is done against a hockey commentary.
Right.
फर्नांडो ने पास किया इसको, इन्फ्रिंजमेंट ये वो, हाँ, जेब में रखता है, बोला गोल, इंडिया हैज वन. So there's sarcasm. It's almost like recreating the work of Mr. R.K. Lakshman. So that's a great film. I wish I'd done it.
Generous of you to say so, but it seems to me that politics and society have not stayed away from you, even while you've done wonderful commercial work.
Either way. 2 years back, I was very angry one day when I saw the State of Parliament. And I called up the Hindu and I did that commercial where the teacher says, I want everyone to use parliamentary
The youth
behavior.
are watching.
Youth are watching. So I have done politics that way. And then, yes, what you're leading up to is, yes, I've done BJP last year. So for me, end of the day, it's the consumer. I want to create some stuff that reaches the consumer, whatever the desire of the client may be, as long as I agree with what the client is selling. If I do not agree with that, then I don't take up the job.
Piyush, you work with a lot of celebrities. I know that a lot of the ad people use that as a shortcut. And a lot of the clients also. Ve Falana ko le aao, Amitabh ji ko le aao, Priyanka Chopra ko le aao, Deepika ko le aao, sab ho jayega. So one, tell us your experiences of dealing with celebrities. And
I think dealing with celebrities, Shekhar, is a huge responsibility on you as a creative person and as a extension of your client. Celebrity should not make you lazy so that your brand suffers. Nor should you do stupid scripts so that the celebrity suffers. It has to be a win-win scenario. So you have to think harder. You have to think of ideas that make the brand look good and make the celebrity look good. Otherwise, the brand is not remembered and people say, why is this celebrity doing this kind of stupid stuff? So it's a no-brainer that you have to work hard.
Can you recall any campaigns where people would have said, ye kaam phas gaya?
बहुत हैं, Shekhar. If I start naming them, I lose a lot of friends. But you know the ones that stand out as good ads. If you look at the work done by Amir on Coca-Cola and Titan.
Thanda matlab Coca-Cola.
And Titan. The work
Prasun
done
Joshi's work, I think.
on Coca-Cola, Titan is us.
Right.
If you look at Mr. Bachchan on Cadbury's Dairy Milk, how he pulled them out of the trouble of yeah, and Pappu pass ho gaya. Or you look at Mr. Bachchan in polio. I mean, these are solid ideas.
How would you bail Nestle out today, since we talked about Cadbury coming out of that hole?
I think each one is a unique problem, and I think there is no bigger answer than dialogue. You don't have to talk to each other through media. I think Nestle should have responded a little faster, should have addressed their problems a little faster. And if you want to know a little more details as to how I'd handle it, I think it'll cost Nestle about $5 million.
You won't have them get it for free. You've also quoted the price now. No soliciting.
You always, when you dream, you don't dream of being one promotion higher. You dream of being the king.
So the book now, Pandemonium.
Yeah.
I mean, pandemonium is an expression that nobody quite knows the meaning of. In fact, if you took a poll among young people, that what is pandemonium?
Yeah.
They say pandemonium is what happens in Parliament.
Correct. And
Because otherwise in English language, that expression is not in use.
it is chaos. And I think out of chaos, out of the churn, Amrit comes out. And I think chaos is a beautiful thing rather than being process driven. I think I always have a saying that if you hold too many workshops, you'll only get mechanics. Do some free thinking.